Just being locked in. Obviously they beat us, kind of got the best of us the last couple of games. In these last, 7 games are really important. So just being locked in, being ready. Obviously the turnovers have been a big part of the last 2 games. We got to bounce back. We got to get a win against these guys.
Do you feel like there is more a sense of internal accountability amongst the players as the season goes on, as we get ready for the playoffs, or is that something you still think is needed here in the coming weeks?
I think it's always needed. I think, player-led teams are always really good, when the guys can kind of look at themselves and say, it's on us, it's not on the coaches. That's typically when the teams have been the best. And I think we have a team that's pretty good with that stuff. We understand that the defensive struggles are our fault. And that's a good thing because we can fix them. So as long as we know that we need to be better and know what we need to be better at, then I think we're going to be in a really good spot going into the playoffs.
How important is it, do you think, to get a win against this Minnesota team since they are, they had the number the last couple?
Watch out! Look out here, Jamal. No, it is important. I think that when a team, especially they've won the last 3 or whatever it was, when a team has beat you that many times in a row, it's important to just get a win, especially a team that we could play in the playoffs and probably will play in the playoffs. So it is important to find what works against them. I know the coaches will have us ready.
What makes them a tough matchup for you guys?
They're just good. I mean, they're a physical team. They're well coached. They play hard. They play the right way. And obviously their personnel, they've got a lot of, a ton of talent. It's been a good challenge for us the last couple of years. Obviously they're a little different this year, but they're still really good. They still play the same way. They still have the same mentality. So it's a good challenge for us, especially at this time, to make sure we're in the right spot going into the playoffs. I think just the live ball turnovers, the turnovers where they get out on the break and they get easy ones. When they get those, it gets their guys into it, and they feed off those things. I think they're a team that does a good job of, creating those turnovers, scoring on the break. And when they do, and it kind of gets their defenders into it, it gets, the team into it, that's when they get tough and they get real physical.
How do you guys do that?
Just get the ball to the right guys, get it to Nikola in his spots. Get the ball to Jamal and help Jamal out. We got to screen better. We got to be more physical on the offensive end too. Maybe whatever it is, get an illegal screen. We got to screen guys better and get guys the ball where they're supposed to have it, so they don't have to fight, to get to their spot. So we got to, own our spots better, just be more physical.
What's something you think you've improved on most throughout the season, just individually? Smoldering looks.
I improved on. That's a tough one. I think that there's a lot of things that I think that I've tried to fix or tried to find a routine, but I think my routine has gotten really good. I think that I've me and Ogie have kind of got to a spot where we understand each other and understand what we need going into the game. And my goal is to be available for all of them. Obviously, I didn't accomplish that, but I think just my routine. I think there's a lot of things that, in the game that I would say I've done really well at sometimes, and sometimes I haven't done as well. So my job is to make sure I'm doing those at the highest level. When the time comes, and that's always going to be work in progress. It's not going to be something where, obviously I'm going to improve, and there's going to be times where I'm playing really well. There's going to be times where I'm not playing as well. But as long as my routine's the same, I'm showing up, I'm putting the work in, I'm doing the right things and have the right approach and the right preparation. I think that's what's most important, and I think where I'm at now with my approach, my preparation, and my routine is a lot better than where I was at the start of the year, and that just comes with experience, and that comes with learning and listening.
What does improving a routine look like?
Just getting it, I guess you can improve in a lot of ways, but doing things at the right time, doing the same things, finding what benefits you the most and gets you right physically and gets you right mentally, and just doing those things constantly and finding a time where, all right, I have to do this at this time, I have to ice bath after a game. There's a lot of different things that you want to fit into that routine. Just being consistent, I think is the biggest part. So once you find, what you like and what makes you most confident, what makes you feel the best, just doing those things more consistently.
Did you ever try anything that really didn't work for you?
We tried a lot of things that didn't work. I think at the end of the day, I always come out and try to play the same way, and I think I've done a good job of when I'm out there. I'm playing hard, but there's a lot of things you try you don't like. whether it's a drink that you're drinking before the game, it's food that you tried to eat before the game, whether it's the night before maybe I was shooting too much, whatever it is. There's a lot of things I've tried I just didn't like, or I don't know. I wouldn't say it didn't work. It's just trial and error, but I think I put myself in a pretty good spot, and I think I've done a pretty good job.
You mentioned helping Jamal. Minnesota's been super physical with him. How do you help him in this matchup?
Screen. I think, like I said, I think in the OKC game we won, we had a couple guys take some, pretty good screens and get him open. And it's hard for him to bring the ball up, get the offense set while he's got three good defenders that are all switching, taking turns, picking them up full court. And they got more than three, now. But guys just switching off, hounding them the whole time. So taking an early screen, while he's bringing it up, getting him loose early. Maybe it's somebody else bringing it up and letting him run free for a little bit. Is good. So whatever we can do to help him, we got to do. But we got to be physical and can't let him push us around.
When you say maybe you shot too much the previous night, do you kind of find out that there's a balance over time, I guess, between making sure you get the reps you need and then overdoing it, I guess?
Yeah, you can overshoot, I think. I mean, a lot of guys have their own thing. I know that I've came up here in Russ. I'll come back up at night, and Russ is rebounding for himself and running around and full sweat doing his thing, and that's what Russ likes. I found a routine that's good for me. I've seen guys, that come in just want to get touches and get the feel for it. Like I said, there's a guy like Russ that literally rebounds his own ball and runs around at night. You got to find what you like and what you're comfortable with. And obviously, last year it's different than this year because the workload and the minutes I played. And there's been times where maybe I was doing too much and we had to cut back, so my legs felt good for the game. But I think I've gotten a good routine, and there are some times where it takes less, and maybe you have an injury. So it's always different. There's been times where I felt really, really good. My body has had no problems, and I'm up here at night and I'm shooting, I'm doing everything. And there's been times where I've had a nagging injury and I'm not coming up at night at all. It's just a balance and figuring out what feels best at the time. But like I said, I think Ogie's done a really good job of guiding me, and I think that we watch Nikola and we watch Russ and those guys and kind of take things from them. But Ogie's done a really good job of helping me out with that.
Can you explain this?
Yeah. So the person next to me in that, it's actually a picture. It's a picture of me, the point guard at Kansas, DeJuan Harris, and then a player that played at Missouri, Isaiah Mosley, who's in the G League. We were at dinner in Chicago. That's actually when I was in high school. I know it doesn't look like it, but
You put this out there.
my mom put that out there on Facebook. Yeah. If you want to find pictures of me, just my mom's Facebook is probably the best place.
Real quick, last. I know last year Nikola sent out a text message after the All-Star break. A lot of guys said it was, galvanizing. Has anything like that happened this year? Not necessarily from him, but somebody that just said, "Hey, here's the mission."
Well, yeah. I mean, we've had I think every team has talks, and like you said, I think Nikola's text, obviously, just coming from him and who he is. That's not, long text. It's not usually what he does, but we've had moments. Nothing needs to be shared or nothing that's been crazy. But I think there is moments in the year that maybe pull you together and bring you together. Maybe it's big wins. Maybe it's a message. Maybe it's somebody speaking up. And we've had things like that. But I think there's obviously moments. I think tomorrow's a big game where I think we had a game late last year against Minnesota. That was a big win for us, and I think that really helped us going into the playoffs. It could be a win. There's still games left. It could be a win that helps. It could be a moment. It could be a play. But I think this team has always had a good culture. I don't think we worry about that stuff. Obviously, there's some stuff we need to clean up, but we'll be ready. I know the coaches will have us ready. I know the guys in the locker room will all come together, and we'll be ready.